What's up, everybody? It's your girl, TV Vaughn, for another dramatic reading. Yes. Yes. Let me stop being extra. Anyway, we are going to read today, or I should say, I'm going to read. One day I'm going to get that right. A Spotted Situation by E.S. McMillan. All right. So here is the blurb. And it's like I said, always like and subscribe. And I'm also going to put a link in the description too, so that you can check it out if you love it. All that glitters or has spots isn't gold. Macy King is a spoiled brat who has it all. The heiress to a major entertainment management firm, Macy thinks she's had it made. With the hottest new actor on her arm, Macy doesn't even notice Evan Martin, a low-level assistant who has nothing but his heart's in his eyes when it comes to her. Evan Martin is trying to make a better life for himself. Growing up with almost no family and barely a roof over his head, he jumps at the chance to become the assistant to one of the hottest actors. It doesn't hurt that he also gets to work for the girl who stole his heart when she bumped into him and then laughed with her friends in their elementary school cafeteria. With a little help from Evan's great-grandmother, these two are on a magical collision course that neither one of them could have ever dreamed of. Sounds interesting. It's kind of got a rom-com. Well, maybe not rom-com, but this is going to be fun. I have a feeling this is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Prologue. Madame Terena. Terena! The familiar voice of my best friend Sandra rang through the small building that housed my magic shop and animal rescue. Dropping the book that I was about to put on the shelf and letting it fall on the floor, I stepped down from the old wobbly ladder and made my way out of my private library. Making sure to close the door behind me tightly, I made my way to the front of the shop. Sandra, is everything okay? I asked, needing confirmation that everything truly was okay. I would not stand for anything being wrong with my best friend. Sandra was the only one who knew who I was and still loved me. You'll never believe it, Sandra exclaimed as she rushed past me towards the messy kitchen that I didn't get around to straightening up yet after breakfast. Fiddling around in the cabinet, Sandra grabbed all of the fixings for 2 cups of tea. Walking into the kitchen and letting myself relax a bit, I dropped down onto the hard wooden chair that sat underneath my hand-carved kitchen table and watched a smile as my best friend made herself at home in my kitchen and prepared tea for us. What? I asked, needing to know what had gotten her so worked up. Stopping and turning around to look at me, Sandra exclaimed, Sophie is back, as she waited with bated breath for my reaction. The fine hairs on the back of her neck stood up at the mention of the poor girl's name. Sophie Hood had been lied to her entire life and had everything taken away from her by a boy who claimed to love her. When she left Allenville, I thought she was finally free of all the heartache that came with knowing and loving Declan Wolfe. What in the devil made her come back? Sophie Hood? I asked, already knowing the answer. The girl is home and everything will be all right again, Sandra said as the smile on her face continued to grow. Unable to stop myself, I slammed my hands on the table. Everything will not be all right again, I roared, causing Sandra to fall into the chair beside her. That boy hurt her deeply and wasn't even man enough to admit it. He ran out of town with his hungry selfishness. How could you possibly think everything is going to be okay now that she's back here? Terena, you don't understand, Sandra exclaimed as she clutched her heart. He's going to fix everything. You put too much faith into the abomination, I spit out, knowing that I needed to get a grip on my anger. Sandra did not deserve my wrath. Declan is a good boy who went about things the wrong way, Sandra whispered. Stop defending him. Jumping up, my chair clattered to the floor as I stomped around the kitchen. He destroyed that girl once and will do it again. I have to stop him. It's not your place, Sandra replied as she stared at me with kindness and sympathy radiating from her. They were destined to be before they were even thought in anyone's mind. They will be together, and Declan will make right all the wrongs he committed. Sandra was always had a way of seeing the good in people. Like hell, I started to say. Nana, Nana, a man's voice called from the front of the house. Forgetting about Sandra and her news for a moment, I quickly turned towards the voice. Evan, is that you, baby? Nana, I have news, Evan said as he made his way towards me. What news? I asked, already knowing what he was about to tell me. I got a job, he exclaimed as he stepped into the kitchen and wrapped me in his strong arms. I am so proud of you, I cried out as tears fell from my eyes and I let his happiness and excitement envelop me. Swatting at his shoulder as a jolt of pain shot through my old body. Now put me down and tell me everything. Of course. I'm sorry, Nana. Of course, I'm sorry, Nana, he said as he gave me one more squeeze. He then placed me down so my feet were placed firmly on the ground. Looking past me, he noticed Sandra. Mama Sandra, forgive me my manners. Nothing to forgive. How are you, Evan? Sandra asked, clearly welcoming the distraction from her own news. I'm really good, he answered her as he walked past me, stopping to pick up the toppled over chair and push it back under the table. Looking between Sandra and me, he asked, Is everything all right between the two of you? Am I interrupting something? Everything's fine. Just two old birds having a difference of opinion, I told Evan. Walking back towards the table, I sat down in my seat and grabbed my great-grandson's hand. Now tell us about this new job of yours. Nana, you're never going to believe it. I'm going to be working at King Management, Evan exclaimed, unable to contain his excitement anymore. I am so proud of you, I said as I watched the joy radiate off of him. His happiness was contagious. I couldn't help the smile that pulled at my lips. What are you going to be doing over there? Sandra asked. I'm going to be the personal assistant for the newest client. That hotshot movie actor, what's his name? Sandra asked excitedly. Alexander Pendleton. He's in the new action movie that just released and has been tapped for the brand new comic book adaptation that will begin shooting in the next few months, Evan informed us. Oh, wow. Can you get me an autograph? Sandra asked as she leaned closer to Evan. Stop it, I hissed, letting my earlier anger and frustration as Sandra returned. What did I walk in on? Evan asked as he picked up the tension between us. Looking between the two of us, he eagerly waited for an explanation. Sophie Hood is back in town, Sandra explained. Really? I haven't seen her since she left town after the death of her grandmother, Evan said with a hint of sadness in his voice. Sophie and Evan had been close friends since they were in diapers. They were inseparable until Declan Wolfe staked his claim on Sophie. When Sophie left town after the death of her grandmother, she had taken a piece of Evan's heart with her. She was never yours to have, I said softly as I leaned into Evan's side and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. Turning to look at me at a sadness that made my heart shatter into 1,000 pieces, he said, I know. The two simple words tumbled from his lips as a tear escaped his eye and trailed down his cheek. There's a special girl out there for you. Keep your eyes and your heart open, I said as I placed a quick kiss on his cheek. You're a catch for any girl, Sandra said, injecting herself into the moment. There's someone that I'm hoping to meet when I start work, Evan said with a shy smile. Who's the lucky lady? I asked, needing to know. Macy King, Evan informed. His smile grew, revealing the dimple in the center of his warm, chocolate-covered cheek. A cold chill settled around me as his words rattled around in my ears. She's all wrong for you, I spat out, instantly regretting my words as my eyes took in the look of disappointment that settled on his handsome face. Terena? Sandra sassed at me. She grabbed Evan and pulled him into a hug. I'm so sorry, I said as I jumped up from my chair and ran out of the kitchen. I hated to disappoint Evan. All I ever wanted to see was him happy. He was the only family I had left, and I hated myself for being the cause of his disappointment and sadness. Rushing into my library, I made sure the door was closed behind me as I made my way to the book I had dropped earlier. Bending down to pick up the tome, I looked up and my eyes fell on a picture of the only man who ever owned my heart. If Macy King is the one he wants, then she is the one he will have, I said out loud as I flipped through the pages of my book. Finally landing on the page that I was looking for, a huge smile spread across my lips. I placed the book on the wooden stand in the center of the room, pulled my sleeves up, and prepared to make my great-grandson's dream come true. And that is the story. What did you think? Did you enjoy that? Those good times, right? Yeah, I'm kind of curious about where the spotted situation comes in. I don't know. We'll see. I guess you have to keep reading to find out. But that was the prologue. As always, definitely check out the link in the description below to see more of E.S. McMillan's work or to even buy the book. Also, that link in there is an affiliate link, and we use that for the channel. So please click it and buy the book or support ES, support me. I appreciate that. Or at least be entertained. I appreciate that as well. And like and subscribe. Hit that bell. Let everybody know that you want to see a dramatic reading by me. Anyway, this is TV Bond here. Hope you have a great day and catch you next week.